Meanwhile, in New Jersey...
So, Marissa, what talking points do you want to hit on in this week's episode?
Well, Jackie, let's talk about how the film addresses the patriarchy. Ooh, and representation of marginalized people. Ooh, and even philosophical ramifications of good versus evil in horror.
We can point out the triangle boobs, talk about the blood splatter, and the practical effects. And also the male gaze?
My gaze at the males.
Hi-yo! From feminism to fangirling, the Jersey Ghouls cover all the bases of horror from a woman's perspective.
New episodes are uploaded every other Sunday.
Just search Jersey Ghouls to find us on social media and your favorite podcasting app.
What's up, everybody? This is Brian here to tell you about our podcast, Bingetown TV. Our hosts include 7 best friends with a love for all things television. We cover a range of genres with a focus on fantasy and sci-fi, but also dip our feet into drama, horror, comedy, and pretty much anything we think is good television. We use the traditional deep dive formula for new live shows that are released week to week, but our calling card is our Rooks and Vets and Pitchtown TV series. Rooks and Vets pairs 2 of our hosts that have seen a show with 2 of our hosts that have not seen a show. Pitchtown TV is when we have a special guest pitch us a show by having us watch the pilot and trying to convince us to watch the rest. If you're craving more content on some of your favorite TV shows, then you should listen to Bingetown TV. Find us on our website at bingetowntv.com, the Apple Podcast app, Spotify, or wherever else you may find your podcast.
We're here to entertain you. We'll sing your songs.
Hey there. Are you obsessed with things that happened before your time? Well, if you are, join me, the host of Before My Time, Kelsey Laurie, to discuss the wonders of the yesteryears that we weren't around to enjoy ourselves. You can find us on all podcast platforms.
Dixieland's a playing, soon you'll be swaying, so come on, sing along.
We're back with another episode of Horror Movie Night, and this week we're talking about Playroom from 1990, a movie that I've never heard of, but it stars Shooter McGavin, so it kept my attention.
Well, yeah, I never, but listen, this is directed by fucking Horror Movie Night royalty, Manny Cotto.
Yeah, but it was his first movie.
Yeah.
He went on and did
important.
Dr. Google's right after this, which is so funny to me. I have lots of information, though. Well, not a lot. I've got some fun little background information to get us going.
What got you to this point in your life, Scott, that you chose Playroom?
Didn't you suggest
Hold on a second.
this?
I want to, real quick, I want to talk about this man's career because, oh boy, he did this, then he did Dr. Giggles, great.
Yeah.
Then he did 1997 Star Kid. If you guys remember fucking Star Kid.
Yep.
And then his last feature that he directed was the Xenon sequel for Disney Channel. Xenon the Sequel.
Wow. Get that Disney money, buddy.
Yeah, it was the sequel to whatever it is, Xenon Girl of the 21st Century.
Yeah, there is, yeah. All I know is the
What
boom,
Jesus,
boom, boom song.
what a
or
wild-
zoom, zoom song.
What a wild shift.
Well, yeah,
right,
it really does kind of. You know what you need when you get into the Playroom, or you know what Shooter McGavin is looking for when he is frantically pickaxing this Slavic castle. He's looking for the Playroom because it's full of rare candy.
Oh my God!
Did we do it?
I was
Did it
so
happen?
close to getting
Oh,
that.
no.
So fucking close to getting rare candy.
That's
But
from
if you
Little
can
House
tell,
Brewing Company.
Yeah, they're really close. They have a truly
It's
they're
good.
truly a little
I've
house.
never even heard of them before that. That's good. That's good.
They have a good one right now seasonally. They have like an apple cider donuts, Scotch ale, which is really fucking good. But if you're in the Playroom, you gotta have your mom bring you a juice box. So I just got Kool-Aid, Kool-Aid Zomberry,
Kool-Aid
to sip along with this.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
Love it so much.
All right, so let's get, like what we did last week, let's do a little bit of excavation on the how did this get made? And I don't have a whole lot.
I never have fucking heard of this movie.
So I think if I remember correctly, we were discussing something else and Kyle mentioned Playroom and I was like, I've never even heard of this. And I went and looked it up and just based on the Wikipedia, which is pretty bare bones, I was like, this has got to happen. I can't wait to discuss this. Well, and then some wizard behind the curtain. It was incredibly hard to find this. It's not streaming anywhere, and there is a like a DVD, maybe a DVD Blue that was
Vinegar
put
Syndrome
out.
had just put it out this year.
Oh, okay,
It had. I think that it had become. I don't know if it had become more readily available or like what the deal was, but I mean, it's still not streaming anywhere. Like it was still like,
the other thing that's baffling to me is that this movie's release date is like September 1990.
Yeah.
And then the next time it's available was that it said the VHS came out in 1997.
Holy shit.
Weird.
Well, I know it
seems
took like an extra year to get a UK release.
Yeah. Like I feel like this movie just kind of was like a small, weird, independent film that was just not noteworthy enough at the time that it came out for even anybody to like feel like there was a demand for VHS until Star Kid. I guess Star Kid was the big moment where they said, we got to get this guy's other stuff out.
I did have Star Kid on VHS. I wish I still did. Man.
So the way that this movie came about is pretty wild to me. So did you see who the original writer of this was? Did either of you guys see? It's Jackie Earle Haley.
What?
Yeah.
Story by Jackie
the original.
Earle
So what
Haley.
happened? Oh, he did the story.
He sold this. This was his first. So he's 27. He's washed up from his child actor era, and he's trying to figure out what the fuck to do with his life. So he wrote Schizo. It was originally called Schizo, which is a shit fucking title. Playroom is way better. I don't know why Schizo was. Anyway, so they bought the script, and they were like, and the people that bought the script, it's what's the name of the company that did A Nightmare on Elm Street? Something Egg.
New Line?
No, it's the production
Smart
company.
Egg.
Smart Egg.
Oh.
Yeah. So they bought this story, and then they were like, they wanted him to direct it, or he wanted to direct it, and originally I guess that they were going to let him, and then they were like, and they dumped him for another 27-year-old Manny Cotto, who was fresh out of film school. So this is his first movie. He had no idea what he was doing. In the interviews, he's been like, So it was it was the co-producers. I'm sorry, it wasn't the distribution or anything. Like New Line was like distribution and main production, but it was co-produced. Like A Nightmare on Elm Street was co-produced by Smart Egg, I think is what you said, Kyle.
Yeah.
So they picked this up in '89, and then they dropped Jackie Earle Haley from it, and they got this other guy named Keaton Jones to do some sort of treatment on the script. And it was shot in the spring of 1989 in war-torn Yugoslavia. So I'm going to say that sounds familiar. Don't bring that up again. I'm going to bring it up later.
Put a pin in that one.
And this has very similar issues to that other film, which is Horror Movie Night Royalty, which also is a movie that I watched in disbelief, and then it became a favorite. So I won't necessarily go as far as to say that this movie is a new favorite, but this is one of those unearthed little gems. Yes, it lags like fuck in the middle, but it's not long. It's way shorter than Predator 2. I want to believe this was a tight 90 minutes. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I think it's 80.
It's 87 minutes.
87 minutes, okay.
Sorry, you just sent me down a whole other weird rabbit hole right now where I did not realize how baffling Jackie Earle Haley's acting career is.
He had a huge swath there where he didn't do anything and also the co-producers of Nightmare on Elm Street who put this together are the ones that did the Nightmare on Elm Street remake
that he starred as Freddy in.
Yeah.
So he had this like moment in the 70s. He's in like the Bad News Bears and Breaking Away, and he has his child actor moment. Right after he wrote Playroom, though, he appears in 2 movies before he goes radio silent. In 1991, he was in Doll Man. And in 1992, he was in Maniac Cop 3 Badge of Silence.
Yeah.
But then he disappears for like 14 years. And then out of nowhere in 2006 comes back and does All the King's Men and Little Children and gets nominated for like a shit ton of awards for those 2 movies. And it like revives his career completely.
And then he did Watchmen. And then he did Nightmare on Elm Street, which is...
And then things started to go poorly again for him from that point on. But
yeah, so just a wild ride.
Hold a second. Also in 1990, here we go. This is horror movie night worlds colliding. 1990, for 13 episodes, he was the voice of Gil Waterman on Gravedale High.
Yeah, let's
go. Man, we gotta get back to watching Gravedale High. And you can learn more about
Gravedale High on our Patreon.
Oh my God, so good. Let me get into the plot synopsis here, and I think that I told the guys before we started recording, I think that I can be pretty succinct with this one, comparatively speaking to my usual, because it lags like shit in the middle.
Yeah,
but so we open up with a child, young boy, probably let's say 10 or 11 years old, and he wakes up in the catacombs of this dusty old castle and finds his buddy's bed on fire, his parents dead, and then Shooter McGavin wakes up and he's like, oh God, it was the nightmare again. We're just going to call him Shooter McGavin. It's Christopher McDonald, but...
which is crazy because his name is also Chris in the movie, but Shooter McGavin is easier than all of it.
He's also undeniably the star of this movie, but third billed in every piece of...
So weird. And why is Jenny, his girlfriend, the survivor girl, sorry to break it to you guys for a movie that is fucking, 35 years old...
that you didn't know about until you listened to this episode.
Well, actually, if you want to watch this movie, actually, it's not streaming anywhere.
If you want to watch this movie, you can't. But
no, Vinegar Syndrome. The halfway to Black Friday sale is coming up.
Oh fuck yeah! There you go. I never buy stuff on their Black Friday sale, but I think if they have this, I might have to get a copy just because the last 20 minutes are just...
the third act is what made this worth watching.
So Chris, an archaeologist, like his father, has recurring nightmares about the murder of his family when he was a child. They are excavating the tomb of a child prince named Elok, who worshipped a Slavic demon and was kind of big on torture and death.
Yeah.
So Chris lets his...
At 10 years old, super into it.
Yeah. Well, he gets into why later. He says he's got a lot of opinions about young boys, let's just say.
A great thing to have opinions on. If anybody ever has fucking opinions on young boys,
they're going straight to Congress is where they're going.
No, you dude.
All right, so
anyway, sorry, Scott. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm amped up about Playroom.
Yeah, dude, this movie fucks hard. But you have to get through about 70 minutes of schlock. So Chris lets his friend, in kind of like quotation marks, Paul, come along with him to he finds like the location of the castle that where the murders happened when he was a child, and he's like, oh, girlfriend Jenny, who runs a magazine and I'm not very nice to, let's go to this castle and like put the ghosts of my past in the past. And he invites Paul to come along to take photos because Paul is a washed-up photographer because he is an alcoholic. And then Paul, of course, has to bring his ex-model, I think, girlfriend Marcy, who is very big into, she's a crystal girly. Let's just say she's a crystal girly. Jenny doesn't trust Paul due to the history of fucking up Chris's shoots in the past. But they all show up, and they get to Yugoslavia. And did you see the extra with the crazy goiter?
Yeah. I did.
I wonder if they use the same extras from my double feature, because I want to say that was obviously not a real goiter, but those people literally just looked so shell shocked that there's no other movie that could possibly fit as tightly into the mold as the other one. So they get there and they have a guy, a drunkard, drive them to the castle, and they of course have to pay him the ransom of, I won't tell everybody in town that you're here stealing artifacts. And they're like, we're just camping. And he goes, just camping, of course. And so then Chris goes on this wild rant about how children love to torture things and are obsessed with death. And that's where you're like, oh yeah, well, I mean, I knew that this was going to be mostly about him having a mental break, but here it is. And then he storms off into the catacombs. Marcy wonders aloud if his chakras are blocked. Chris is wandering around the ruins. Jenny finds him and then just takes him to the fuck room, to her playroom, if you will. And he, instead of enjoying this wonderful sexual experience, he is just looking at a child's, I guess it's crayon, or maybe
like a crayon drawing.
It
feels very Room.
But it's from the beginning. It's the very beginning of the movie when he goes and sees like the bed on fire. You do see that drawing on the wall.
Yeah, no, it is part of his past, but he's way more into that than the woman riding him. So we know that shit is not lining up in his brain. He becomes increasingly erratic. Oh, I'm sorry. That super awkward sex scene is followed swiftly by a second awkward sex scene between Paul and Marcy, where she babbles about her root chakra opening up, and then she's saying, Paul, you're losing your energy. And then it's just like pounding. This movie has a really funny, like, recurring motif of pounding because of all the pickaxes and the fucking. Yeah. So they obviously he gets
Pound Town.
Yeah, Pound Town. Yeah. He gets even more erratic. He yells at people. He pushes Jenny. And she's like, let's just leave. He's like, no, I have to stay here and find the playroom so that I can not be crazy anymore. He obviously finds the playroom and becomes fucking crazy. He gets possessed by his childhood friend Daniel, who is an imaginary friend. Daniel he gives him this necklace that he also wears that has a like kind of a skull-ish type insignia on it. So now Chris is gone. Chris is no longer here. Daniel is in control, and Marcy is like, what are you doing, Chris? Do you want to have sex with me? Which I whatever. Crystal girlies are weird. I don't really want to get into the questionable things that went through the writers' heads to get to that point. They just had to get her to the kill room. So he takes her into the kill room and he tries to put her on a rack, like one of those X-shaped racks, because it's a torture chamber. Prince Zelok's torture chamber is the playroom. And instead she goes, I like chairs. And so he puts her on this massive stone throne and then locks her down, and a medieval circular saw cuts her in half. Which fantastic.
I do have to say, one of my complaints about this movie is that there's really interesting deaths like this.
But you don't get to see them. Yeah.
You don't get to see almost any of them.
Yeah.
like even the Saw scene, like you see like a shadow in the background and like blood spurts onto the stone, and it's like, I don't need to see Terrifier here, but like I feel like I'm owed something.
Manny Koto was really he was trying his best, all right.
If you make the impossible device you need to show me how it works.
Yeah.
Like if you make the thing that literally does not exist. I shouldn't say that. I've there are plenty of torture devices that have existed that have been changed or adapted, and this is some sort of form of that. I just don't believe that the circular saw chair was one of them.
It gives me like in Basket Case when like you do the flashback and he's built like a Saul on like a radio flyer.
Yeah.
Like we'll, and at least we see it come down, we cut to a groaning face, and then we get that classic like two legs from a mannequin, and they both like flop in different directions. I'd have even accepted that, honestly.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. All
Listen,
you needed to go was
Case
right
gets
through,
one
right
up
through the
on
seat.
you. Shit.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Paul comes looking for. Oh, so Jenny says, I'm going to go get help. And she tells Paul to stay and find Chris. So Paul goes and he finds Chris. He finds Marcy's, dismembered body first. And then Chris starts bashing him with a skull in the skull. Eventually says, it's your birthday. I didn't get you a present, but here's a spike pit. And he drops him down into the spike pit. He dies. And then Jenny... Oh, I forgot to mention, there's this whole subplot where, what's his name in real life? Vincent Schiavelli.
So random.
In Batman
Love
Returns.
that he's in this.
He's in Batman Returns. He's the organ grinder in Batman Returns. He was framed for the murder of Chris's parents back, when Chris was a child, and he's been in an insane asylum, an institution in Yugoslavia, just down the road actually, for let's say 20 years. He breaks out because Yelko, the drunk Uber driver, I guess, basically, comes in and says like, oh, let me get in on what treasure they're looking for. And he's like, there's no fucking treasure. And so he breaks out of the institution. He finds Yelko, makes Yelko drive him back to the castle. On the way, he kidnaps Jenny, who's just trying to get to town to get help. And so they all get there. And Roman and Jenny go into the castle. Roman finds Chris and goes, I'm going to blow your fucking head off. And then he promptly gets knocked out by Jenny because she's like, no, I can fix him. She can't. So
she can't.
They now do the cat and mouse where Chris takes Jenny into the playroom, tries to kill her with the the circular saw chair. She gets out. Then he knocks her down. Oh, I'm sorry. He gets knocked out, and we get the denouement, the fucking Prince Elok puppet. Incredible. Incredible.
Well, the best part about this puppet is that for some reason it talks in a Southern California surfer accent
because
half the
they
time
had
when
the
he's
kid
talking.
who's playing Daniel voicing Prince Elok. It's
so ridiculous.
So good, man.
So I literally I saw a TikTok the other day that was Jason Marsden explaining why he's the voice of Thackeray Binks and why he had to dub over the actor's voice. And he was like, that child actor was like from Southern California and sounded that way. So like when they shot the movie, like Binks would jump on to like, he would talk and it'd be like, you remind me of my sister. And they're like, they're like, this is ridiculous. We need to like replace this with someone who can like talk in a more like era appropriate affectation. But I love that in this movie, they did not have the ability to do that. They're like, we hired this kid. This is the voice. This is the voice that this centuries old prince talks like he's Bill and Ted.
and he's also, we're getting these like knockoff Freddy lines in this the SoCal accent, like
as soon as he becomes
Drake. Fucking incredible.
It's really, really good. And honestly, the puppet is pretty solid.
It's fun.
Like,
I listen,
it's hilarious.
No matter what you have to sit through, like it might be a slow start, it might be a slow middle. I felt satisfied by the time I got to the last like 10 minutes. I was like, I'm glad I watched this, actually.
Yeah. Well, I was riveted.
The thing is that I knew it was coming, but I only knew because of the Wikipedia. I did not pre-watch this before I picked it, or before we got to the day before recording, and I was like, oh,
you really took a chance, dude. You took a chance.
I knew
and it paid off.
that it was going to be worth the price of admission for the end, and I just grinned for the last 15 minutes of this shit. It was so wild. It was just, and I love the part where Prince Orlok or Prince Elok is he's pouring accelerant like gasoline or something on Jenny, who falls into the spike pit on top of Paul's corpse and does not die. He goes, looking a little dry down there, and then he whispers to himself, I love this shit. And I think that they thought that they were onto something, man. But then she gets out, she like wiggles out some like exhaust port basically in the spike pit, and he goes, no, and his like hands don't articulate. It's incredible. Kyle, if you're going to be grabbing,
they're the wrong size to his head.
Yeah. He's partially mummified. Like, that's why it makes it okay. Is like, and for the listeners, if you haven't watched this movie, you know that part in the third Indiana Jones movie when the guy drinks from the wrong cup of Christ. It's like that, except he has eyeballs.
It's really crazy. It's a crazy design. Wild.
You know, like when you're watching these movies and you're like half watching, like you're kind of doing other stuff, you're writing notes. That thing showed up and it was just like hands.
You had my attention. Yeah,
hands under the
pencils
chin. Just
down.
Like I'm invested. Where's this going?
And so
this movie's finally making some fucking choices, and I'm here for it.
Yeah,
crazy poster. Poster is great. At least the theatrical poster of it is really great. I only ever saw the Vinegar Syndrome like slipcover, and the poster is fucking great.
Yeah. So this is not the end of the movie either.
I know.
So Prince Elok kills no one else. He actually kills no one in this movie, as far as when he possesses Chris, I guess you could say it. But so Chris, he goes back to being Daniel, and he wakes Chris up, and he's like, "Hey, go kill your girlfriend." And so Chris takes the pickaxe and goes running after her, and like gets knocked off of a bottomless chasm, and then Jenny like gets out of the castle, and she finds Yelko's van still there. Yelko is dead, I think. It doesn't matter.
That sounds right.
Then Roman shows up and then gets
Yelko's
stabbed
dead,
in the back with the pickaxe, and you think, okay, Chris is gonna kill her now. He's gonna do it, and then Roman wakes up with a pickaxe wound in his back, shoots Chris 5 times in the fucking neck, decapitates him, and he actually blows his head off just like he promised. Promises made, promises fucking kept. And then he dies, and Jenny survives, walks off into the sunset, or into the sunrise, and the end of the movie is she is now institutionalized in the same place where Roman was, because no one believes that all of her friends were murdered by Chris. The end.
Yeah. Did you, just total side note, did you say Last Crusade when he drinks out of the different
Isn't
cup?
that the Last Crusade?
Okay.
So it also, I wasn't thinking the melting face in the first Indiana Jones. I'm thinking the melting, the mummification.
Uncredited on Last Crusade is the special effects person, Greg Aronowitz, for this movie.
Incredible.
So it goes Indiana Jones Last Crusade, uncredited. Nightmare on Elm Street Dream Child, uncredited. Playroom,
credited
as this
finally
the
got
creature
his
effects
roses.
sculptor and key mold maker, dude. Key mold maker. He just took shit from the shop and like made it for this movie. I think you're onto something.
Incredible. I think I had a fifth sense about it, guys.
Meanwhile, in New Jersey.
So, Marissa, what talking points do you want to hit on in this week's episode?
Well, Jackie, let's talk about how the film addresses the patriarchy. Ooh, and representation of marginalized people. Ooh, and even philosophical ramifications of good versus evil in horror.
We can point out the triangle boobs, talk about the blood splatter, and the practical effects. And also the male gaze.
My gaze at the males.
Hi-yo! From feminism to fangirling, the Jersey Ghouls cover all the bases of horror from a woman's perspective.
New episodes are uploaded every other Sunday.
Just search Jersey Ghouls to find us on social media and your favorite podcasting app.
What's up, everybody? This is Brian here to tell you about our podcast, Bingetown TV. Our hosts include 7 best friends with a love for all things television. We cover a range of genres with a focus on fantasy and sci-fi, but also dip our feet into drama, horror, comedy, and pretty much anything we think is good television. We use the traditional deep dive formula for new live shows that are released week to week, but our calling card is our Rooks and Vets and Pitchtown TV series. Rooks and Vets pairs 2 of our hosts that have seen a show with 2 of our hosts that have not seen a show. Pitchtown TV is when we have a special guest pitch us a show by having us watch the pilot and trying to convince us to watch the rest. If you're craving more content on some of your favorite TV shows, then you should listen to Bingetown TV. Find us on our website at bingetowntv.com, the Apple Podcast app, Spotify, or wherever else you may find your podcast.
We're here to entertain you. We'll sing your songs.
Hey there. Are you obsessed with things that happened before your time? Well, if you are, join me, the host of Before My Time, Kelsey Laurie, to discuss the wonders of the yesteryears that we weren't around to enjoy ourselves. You can find us on all podcast platforms.
Dixieland's a playing, soon you'll be swaying, so come on, sing along.
Put down that smartphone and listen to me. I'm Matthew Milligan, professional musician and lifelong Weird Al fan. Each week, I'm joined by professional podcaster and close personal friend Matt Kelly to take a dive off the deep end into the vast career of pop culture icon Weird Al Yankovic on our show, Weird Algorithm. Along with some very special guests from the worlds of music and comedy, we tackle every song, every television appearance, and every bit of sketch comedy Al has produced in chronological order, covering the good old days of My Bologna and Eat It, the fun zone of tacky and white and nerdy, and everything in between. As we go, we're ranking the songs, albums, and music videos in the hopes of creating the ultimate guide to a career bigger than the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota. So the next time you're having one of those days, stuck in a traffic jam, wondering why does this always happen to me, just kick off your sneakers and stick around for a while because we've got it all on Weird Algorithm, available wherever you get your podcasts. And now you know. Was that enough references?
Double features, I've
that's
been
what I was gonna say.
edging
What
you
happened?
towards it. It's Beyond the Door 3 because literally a year before, that crew was in Serbia. And do you know what the Yugoslav Civil War was? It was between Yugoslavia and Serbia. They were in the same fucking conflict.
Beyond the Door 3. Wow, what a ride.
That's a good call.
Great.
It's gonna get a little serious in my house after we've watched this this mummified child puppet killing some people, because I'm gonna say, hey, I want to watch another movie where someone's imaginary friend turns out to be not so great. And I'm going to put on a more recent movie, Daniel Isn't Real.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I would triple feature, dude. Daniel Isn't Real is an unsung, like that movie just like,
That's one where I'm like
fart.
counting down 10 years.
Yeah,
like
I
I'm
cannot.
like, when do we hit 10 years so we can like shine a spotlight on how
That
fucking
movie is
good
so,
Is it 20?
so good. I think it's 2017.
Oh, it's 2019.
2019. Holy shit.
Wow.
Great
Dang, I
pick,
thought
Matt.
it was
Great
way
pick.
early. Well, I thought you know what? I bet it was released 2019 because I thought it was doing festival circuit for like 2017 and then came okay,
Possibly.
doesn't matter.
I also feel like it was one of the ones that like kind of. I think it got screwed by COVID too. I think it did festivals in 2019 and then got released in the middle of COVID, where it was just like dumped on a streaming
Sounds
service
right.
and kind of forgotten.
I'm double featuring strictly off of Chris's Jammies. and I'm watching Don't Panic.
I thought the same thing. I was like, he's wearing the Don't Panic jammies in this scene.
Oh my God, guys.
This is the greatest 4-film watching experience
This
we could
is
have ever assembled.
Literally 4
If we're
fucking
gonna do a
stars,
horror movie
guys.
night, a horror movie night marathon.
We need to have a a public movie marathon where we do all 4 of those, or we do like 2 nights where we do the first 2 and this. Oh my God, guys!
I don't hate that idea.
I don't either.
And Don't Panic is another Vinegar Syndrome release. Not to
Because they did the Don't Panic jammies. Didn't they get those made
I think they
for
put out
like
the jammies? Yeah.
Genius?
So that would be my.
That's an insane double feature. All right. If you have a double feature that you think is even better than ours, you can let us know on HMN Podcast on any social media app, or sending us an email at hmnpodcast@gmail.com. You can also ask to be part of our newsletter if you send us an email. You can become a patron on Patreon at HMN Podcast. You can go to our website, hmnpodcast.com, to check out our back catalog, and buy some merch at hmnpodcast.dashery.com. Scott, what is something that you've read, listened to, etc., that you want to talk about?
I am going to keep it very short. It's none of the above. It's a video game. Hades 2 dropped for the Switch, finally. And I had heard really, really lukewarm responses about, from people that had played it on Steam. And this game's so good. It really takes the mechanics of... So, Hades is a roguelike dungeon crawler. And it's kind of like a choose your own adventure, choose your own power up type thing. And they made this game bigger, longer, has characters that you know and love from the first one, but it's a new main protagonist, a great storyline. You get to have animal familiars that you find along the way, and they give you like special power-ups. My favorite one is the frog, obviously. The dog is quite possibly second, but it's such a great game, and I don't understand why people were shitting on it. Like people that I knew that I knew them. I killed them because I didn't like the way that they talked about Hades 2. But it's such a good game, and it's a great way to burn like an hour, turn your brain off, and instead of doom scrolling, I just do a
go
run.
to hell.
Well, you don't just go to hell because you can go to hell and you can go to Olympus now. Like it's got these 2 paths. It's super, super great. High recommendation from me. 10 out of 10.
I got 2 high recommendations real quick. Another Hulu's been just getting some good things lately. A Nice Indian Boy.
I can't wait to watch that.
It is a queer romantic comedy. It's just a delight. It's just really fun and sweet. And if you love romantic comedies and you wish that there was a little bit more gayness in them, boy, is A Nice Indian Boy like the wholesome, feel-good movie that you've been looking for. But I also want to talk about a book that I'm almost done, but I want to talk about it so that people can pre-order it. YAOK's Eric J. Brown's new book, Better the Devil, is on pre-order right now. I got an advanced copy of it. I have 50 pages left to go, and I think this is Eric's best book yet. So he's moving away from romance and diving into what is his true passion, which is horror and thriller. This feels like a 90s Christopher Pike book. Because it doesn't shy away from the violence and how fucked up things are getting. But the very quick pitch of the book is that it is about a kid who, when his super religious parents find out he's gay, want to send him to conversion camp. So he runs away. 8 months later, he's arrested. And out of fear that if he provides his real name and information that the police will send him back to his parents, he starts trying to think of a fake name and sees a missing child poster that has been aged up and looks almost exactly like him. So he claims that he's that kid. Once he arrives at the home of this family, he finally starts to do some research. And that's when he finds out that the popular internet theory is that the family murdered their child and got away with it. And it becomes this cat and mouse where now he is stuck in a home where he is pretty confident that he is living with murderers, and the murderers are pretty confident that that's not their son because they murdered their son, but none of them want to admit to what they are thinking is the case because, like, hey, if you murdered your kid and then some stranger shows up claiming to be your kid, you're not going to blow up your cover because, hey, now this is great. Now no one's going to suspect we're murderers anymore because our child's alive. It's really, really fun. Like the cat and mouse game that he's built in here is great. And yeah, it's worth reading. It's an absolute delight. Go pre-order it. From what I'm told by Eric, pre-orders are extremely important.
Yes.
They are more important than actually physically buying the book after it's been released. And he's already getting star reviews in some of the publishing things, which is a huge deal. I didn't know anything about star reviews, but you basically either put out something that's considered a bad book, a good book, or a star book. And a star book is like, this is like something that deserves everybody's attention. So this is kind of the most attention he's gotten for one of his books so far. And he's like, please pre-order it so I can write more thriller and less romantic comedies. So, you know, let's make that happen for Eric J. Brown.
Hell yeah.
Kyle, take us home. Kyle, that sounded like you were taking a hit from a bong, not finished.
Not drinking.
Not finishing.
Tomato, Matt. Tomato. So there's a lot of discourse already about this. And at the time of me talking about this, I've not finished the series. But I'm watching Monster, the Ed Gein story.
Yes.
Ooh. And now I can see, I've only watched the Jeffrey Dahmer one prior to this. I did not watch, was it the Menendez Brothers?
Yeah.
And then there's another one that I'm forgetting off the top of my head. This is the 4th season of that. And, you know, Ryan Murphy has a track record. Ryan Murphy has a trope. Ryan Murphy has all these things. Of course, this is a Ryan Murphy in association with Ryan Murphy Productions, done by a different group of people, but clearly with the same intentions and understanding and tropes of possibly sexualizing and completely turning on the head the narrative story of a prolific serial killer. Now, Ed Gein, for any of those people who probably, you know, a lot of our listeners probably know Ed Gein just from the references in pop culture. And I think that is the most interesting part of this series so far, because they dovetail this story of Ed Gein that they're telling, however they choose to tell it. I kind of want to like separate that from the part that I really enjoy about this so far, which is the dovetailing and this telling of the pop culture films that reference Ed Gein, and then I've also changed sort of horror history in our culture, you know, in a lot of ways. So far, I'm only on episode 5, so I've not gotten to the third and final piece, which I believe is Silence of the Lambs. But I do have to say, even with the artistic license that they took to tell the story of Alfred Hitchcock and Tony Perkins, and then some of the artistic license that they took to even mention Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I do think that the way that they portrayed both of those things, the application of some of the filmmaking techniques, or at least like the visual styles that they choose to tell those portions of the story, are absolutely worth watching. Episode 4, when they do talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, when they talk about Tobe Hooper coming to the realization and the understanding and the reasoning behind the decision to even make Texas Chainsaw Massacre as a movie, whether the artistic license, whether Tobe Hooper knew that or not, or if he was just stoned out of his fucking mind,
which is equally possible from everything we know about
Both
Tobe.
things could exist, but I think the cultural impact can still be discussed and give Tobe Hooper maybe the words that he didn't have, right? Like, I think that there's a way to do that and honor that story. And I think that the way that they approached it, and then they reshot scene for scene some of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it's really fucking good. So if you can get past the sexy Ed Gein of it all. The sexy Ed Gein John Cena hybrid of it all, because that motherfucker looks like John Cena. It is nuts.
Yeah.
It is nuts. There's some interesting things happening in the series. You might not want to watch 8 episodes. I'm now on to episode 6, and my wife and I are like a little tired of the Ed Gein storyline, but I think that I'm watching it for the sort of the horror history or retelling of that portion of it, which I really enjoy. I think that's where these filmmakers or these people who are making this production shine, in that they clearly give a shit and have an understanding of like where they think, like why they think that Ed Gein is so fascinating, and how that's reflected in horror history or pop culture. So,
because I even said that to you when we were hanging out this past weekend, like, yes, Homeboy's not that prolific to get 8 straight episodes of what he did.
Ed Gein's not that dope.
Yeah, it's not. There's not that much to dive into. Like, talk about someone who needs just a documentary and not a docuseries. Like, there's not that much meat on the bone for that. Honestly,
you're right. There's far less meat on the bone. There's just skin. It's just skin and bone in a lot of ways. But no, you're right. And I think, when we were talking about it, like, I hope we watched the movie Deranged at some point in time. It might be a little too much for us on the show, but it also, I think, is really interesting as far as like an Ed Gein narrative telling. Like, it kind of sticks to like what he did.
I was gonna say, that's the first one that owns it, right? Like, it's like, this is based on this person.
This is Ed Gein's story, right? It kind of starts out as a documentary and then becomes a cinematic telling, right? Which I think is a really interesting approach to it. But it's there's a lot. You have to take a lot of creative license to make his story interesting. I do think that people have already done that. You know, Psycho, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Silence of the Lambs already did that. Like, they took that creative license or at least tropes and traits of Ed Gein's history and story and made that into a movie. So having an 8-episode series that is like, I don't know. I'm enjoying that portion of it. The other stuff is a little tiring. It's a little Ryan Murphy for me, but it's interesting. I just wanted to speak my piece on it halfway through.
There you go. There you go. And we can speak our piece on a movie every Thursday night on your iPod. So your iPod. On your iPhone. Whatever. Listen, maybe I'm listening right here on my iPod classic that's right next to me. But stay tuned next week for more Horror Movie Night goodness.
Meanwhile, in New Jersey...
So, Marissa, what talking points do you want to hit on in this week's episode?
Well, Jackie, let's talk about how the film addresses the patriarchy. Ooh, and representation of marginalized people. Ooh, and even philosophical ramifications of good versus evil in horror.
We can point out the triangle boobs, talk about the blood splatter, and the practical effects. And also the male gaze?
My gaze at the males.
Hi-yo! From feminism to fangirling, the Jersey Ghouls cover all the bases of horror from a woman's perspective.
New episodes are uploaded every other Sunday.
Just search Jersey Ghouls to find us on social media and your favorite podcasting app.
What's up, everybody? This is Brian here to tell you about our podcast, Bingetown TV. Our hosts include 7 best friends with a love for all things television. We cover a range of genres with a focus on fantasy and sci-fi, but also dip our feet into drama, horror, comedy, and pretty much anything we think is good television. We use the traditional deep dive formula for new live shows that are released week to week, but our calling card is our Rooks and Vets and Pitchtown TV series. Rooks and Vets pairs 2 of our hosts that have seen a show with 2 of our hosts that have not seen a show. Pitchtown TV is when we have a special guest pitch us a show by having us watch the pilot and trying to convince us to watch the rest. If you're craving more content on some of your favorite TV shows, then you should listen to Bingetown TV. Find us on our website at bingetowntv.com, the Apple Podcast app, Spotify,
or wherever else you may find your podcast.
We're here to entertain you. We'll sing your song.
Hey there. Are you obsessed with things that happened before your time? Well, if you are, join me, the host of Before My Time, Kelsey Laurie, to discuss the wonders of the yesteryears that we weren't around to enjoy ourselves. You can find us on all podcast platforms.
Dixieland's a playing, soon you'll be swaying, so come on, sing along.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.